This is not music, number one. This is unbearable sound to me. I know exactly the culture that I belong to. It's the only culture that counts.
People will follow you.
I'm going to call the police right now.
Come to the music as well?
No. No, I disagree with their concept. I disagree completely.
You disagree completely?
Completely.
What do you think you should have? What kind of music would you prefer?
Classical music. How about classical music? How about a little bit of, Chopin instead of...
This is the earliest music there is. This is as classic as it gets.
Well, I think nature sound would be nicer.
I mean,
bird song would be
you still vibrate to
I
this
don't know
sound.
how many hours. I understand what you're saying. I don't know how many hours these people have been. I don't know how many hours have been played. If I would have, this is a residential area, and you shouldn't allow for this. If you're
This is a recreational area.
No, here, but over there it's residential. Let me give you in your brain is the same thing that living next to a data center. Okay?
Data center.
Yes, it's the same thing.
But it's not 24/7.
Vibration.
But it's not 24/7.
But it's bad for you. It's bad for you.
What happens to you when you hear it? What does it do to you?
No, I don't like the sound, period.
Yeah, but you say, living next to a data center is certainly bad for you, right? Because you can't sleep, the noise
I know, look, we're in agreement. This is not music, number one. This is unbearable sound to me.
The culture you grew up on was classical.
I know exactly the culture that I belong to.
Tell us about it. Share that with us.
It's the only culture that counts. Look at you. Look at me. What am I wearing?
What are you wearing?
Yes. Like, what culture are we talking about here?
Exactly. What kind of culture are you talking about here?
Look what you are having in there. Thanks to the type of culture that I appreciate, you are able to come up with this, right? Because that culture won't give you this thing. Right?
This came from you're saying that there's a culture that...
No, this didn't come from the U.S. You need to think about France, and before that, Huygens, and before that, Galileo. You need to think about for the camera.
So this is European.
You're
saying
absolutely,
European.
because this country
but this is actually Japanese.
The Japanese were the Chinese of the 1970s. Okay, that's German.
That's German.
That's Austrian.
And that's German too. Yes. You know you're German, but the United States now isn't in the lead of technology.
No, the Chinese will be, because the Chinese do pay attention to what culture is. This is not culture. The Chinese will play the piano and will play classical music to their kids. Now this trash. This is trash. This is exactly trash. For the kids who are in there, all they hear is vibration.
Right.
And in their brains, it sounds horrendous. Okay?
Well, wait a second. Why do they like it then if it sounds horrendous?
Nobody likes this.
But they seem to dance to it.
I'm not seeing kids in here. I'm not seeing kids in there.
Well, it's...
I'm not seeing kids.
Well...
Because kids...
You have to pay attention because you miss the kids.
Look, do you have kids?
I have kids.
Okay. When they were babies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would take them here.
Did you play Mozart or Chopin or Beethoven to them?
I would play classical music, and I would play African music, and I would play hip-hop, and I would encourage them to listen to all sounds.
Well, you know that the so-called African music doesn't kind of exist because...
It was colonized.
No. I mean, Aren't we under a colonization process all throughout humanity? Yes. Yes.
I mean, would you say that this
Yes.
is then the consequences of colonization?
Colonization that has nothing to do with it.
Well,
is which people are the
which-
strongest in the world at one time at a time.
So which countries
So
now?
the Turks were bad, the African tribes were bad at a certain time.
So how could you live in Washington D.C., which is such a multiverse of people?
Multiverse? Are you kidding me? The United States is the most uniform country I've ever been to. The most uniform.
What does that mean, uniform?
What does that mean?
What does it mean to you? Yeah, you're using a language that I need you to define.
Variability, but this country is extremely uniform in the thought, in the way we think. And are you actually doing something with this?
Yeah, I'm recording you.
Well, you didn't ask for my consent.
Well, you saw me recording. I'm looking down and I'm doing this.
No, please.
So I can
delete
stop
everything.
now. I'll stop now.
Stop and delete.
All right, there.
Because you should have asked me.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
No. Delete it in front of me.
I'm not gonna.
Sir, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Please
I'll
delete
just
that.
put this on YouTube, and your voice will be heard. People will follow. People will follow you.
I'm going to call the police right now.
Well, you're in a public space. There's nothing illegal about recording you in a public space.
You didn't tell me. I'm calling the police.
Call the police.
Having a private conversation here, not a public. But she was not giving a public speech.
It's not a public speech here. Just because I don't agree with you? Okay. You're still recording.
Yeah,
You're still recording.
because you're recording. You have the right to
I'm
record
taking
me.
pictures.
You have the
I'm
right
taking
to record
pictures.
me. All right, you can take my picture.
Okay.
I give you permission to take my picture. But even if
I
I
didn't
say,
give
oh
you
wait,
my permission.
all right, no, I don't
Stop
I don't
recording.
give you permission
You are
to.
still-
I don't give you permission to take my picture.
Then that's it. I'm not taking
All right, I want you to erase that.
Okay. You do that. You do the same thing.
All right, you can keep my picture then.
Okay. I will have to call the police.